Welcome to Casual Gamer Oz. It is round 10 of Season 8 F1 2017 Career Mode Silverstone. Let's get into qualifying straight away. Of course, got pole here last season, 1 here last season. We're aiming for 4 consecutive pole positions, 4 consecutive wins here in Season 8. And let's see how we can fare right now. We've got a slender lead in the World Championship. There's about 20 points separating the top 4 right now, as Bottas for the first time in F1 2017 has become a real challenger for the World Championship as we move now into the halfway point. We should, of course, cross that 1600 point R&D point, that made sense, threshold, so we can finally put on our next upgrade on the engine. We've only got 2 more parts left of the engine to go before we've completed that and make it the most powerful engine in Formula 1, overtaking our former team Toro Rosso in the same feat that we achieved in that car. The difference, of course, being here with this Ferrari that it is a much better motor vehicle overall than that Toro Rosso in terms of the chassis and the aerodynamics, making it easily the best car in F1, although we hope that Mercedes, obviously, who are right on our heels in terms of overtaking us, but we are killing them in the engine department, and obviously, as I said, overall we've got a lot more going for us. Alrighty, we're on course here for another pole position in Silverstone. It's a circuit that obviously is prone to rain, and we will see how that plays out for race. We didn't have a wet practice because we don't do practice, but we've still got to skip it. It's dry for that, it's dry for qualifying. Generally, as we always see, there's usually at least 1 wet session across this weekend, so hopefully it won't be race day. But we are going to get pole position on qualifying day here in Silverstone. 4 poles in a row. Jeffrey, nothing? Of course, no, you prick. Fine. Alrighty. Thank you very much. Let's go through it. Bottas down in 4th. So, interesting there. I would like to see Bottas be the one if I have to lose this championship. I want to lose it to Bottas. It's weird to say that, but obviously I'd rather Ferrari win, but nice to have a new champion in this game. Alrighty. To cross the halfway point in the lead in the championship, we'd basically end the first half exactly the same as last season, with the one exception would be 5 points lower than we were last season. We do cross that 1600 point threshold, as what we're going to do then straight away, we're going to bolt in that update just so you can see us do it. Powertrain, so we can either do the fuel technology or we can do the turbo pressure, which is they're both the ultimate. We're going to go with the fuel efficiency more. They'll be up by Japan. Done. Alrighty. And let us now head... Oh, Red Bull overall have taken us. Wow, okay. What did I say about Red Bull dropping back? So if Mercedes overtakes, we'll be the 3rd best car in Formula 1, but obviously an upgrade not till Japan, so that's 6 races away. I hate how it says 6 weeks, but it should say 6 races. So we've now got to build up another 1600, of course, to get to our 2nd best engine one there. So we know they'll all be complete by Season 9. And then for our last 2 seasons, we can focus on the remaining aero and chassis parts, which we won't be able to fully develop the whole car, because again, we don't do practice, so therefore we are at a slight disadvantage. So here we go, folks. Silverstone, it's dry, that's good. Let's do this. Okay. How will we start this one? Do we cautiously do it? I don't want any front wing damage, and I don't want to chop. We'll let them go down the inside. It's that simple. Because we don't want anybody coming on the left-hand side of us there, but we actually managed. I get a warning. I didn't feel anybody touching me there. Interesting. Going back to what I was saying in Austria about how it's weird how you get a warning for a collision when it's off the start line, when again I didn't even see any cars there. I didn't feel any collision there. So interesting that they give you the reasoning that you get a warning for it, but hey, as long as it's not a penalty, it's fine by me. I do believe this is again another one of those Grand Prix last year where I shot out to the lead, but then ended up getting a 2-second penalty for cutting the circuit. So I had to find myself maintaining a 2-second gap over 2nd place, which of course I did achieve, because I did win this Grand Prix last year for the first time. It's the only Grand Prix we are yet to win now in this game after winning in Australia and Bahrain this season are of course in Singapore, where else was it? Singapore, Malaysia, and Abu Dhabi. Now, I'm confident we can win in Malaysia and Abu Dhabi. But Singapore's going to be the tricky dicky one there, of course, with no flashbacks, of course, as well. And yes, I know, we use that one in Azerbaijan. Shh! I didn't see it if you didn't see it. Alrighty, we're going to have a nice significant lead here for our first lap. To be precise, a 1.7 second lead, which is a nice lead in itself. And we've kind of done the opposite here. We did a few rounds ago, didn't we? We've started in rich mode. We're going to keep it to rich mode until we just maintain it. And we will move on up here through this section. And yeah, a little bit silent here on the commentary, but I am trying to concentrate slightly and not bin it. We've binned it in that corner there before, haven't we? Remember that? One of my famous really angry moments. I think that's when we were really pushing in Toro Rosso, and back when we just refused to use flashbacks, we obviously had to give in to that urge to help us get out of Ferrari, to get to Ferrari, I should say. But yeah, don't jinx myself, Ben, otherwise I'll end up doing it again, and we're not using a flashback this time around. Alrighty. The next two races, of course, in Hungary and Belgium are really, I feel, where we lost it last year. I know you could argue that obviously we had the DNF in Singapore, and we had the DNF in Malaysia, did we not? No, it was Italy, of course, which of course obviously cost us, but you know, in both Belgium and in Hungary we were leading on the last lap, and two mistakes by ourselves cost us a win. We ended up in second, so there was 14 points and we're begging. We went into that last Grand Prix, of course, 24 points down. We've only been 10 points down. Wouldn't have had as much pressure on ourselves going into that to try and take out cars. And yeah, so, you know, ifs and buts, candy and nuts, we'll have Merry Christmas. But definitely I feel the two Grand Prix that cost us the most last year were those two. I mean, you could argue Bahrain with my chop, of course. But I mean, look at China this year, and then Spain in terms of first line incident. So I maintain that Hungary and Belgium were where we lost it last year, so it'll be redemption in the next two rounds. Two Grand Prix that we know we can win in this car, particularly Hungary too, given that the only time we've ever won Hungary, we had to sort of change the difficulty level to allow us to be within a shot. So yeah, anyway, we're not in Hungary, we're not in Belgium, we're in Silverstone. We need to still focus on bringing this one home, because this is not over yet. Not over by a long shot. 2 laps to go. So we come now across the line to start our penultimate lap. It's at the fastest last sector of anyone. We are on the charge here to try and keep this up. Our fuel mix, we're running on pressure point there, 0.24. I'm just going to keep it there just for the moment. So with that upgrade we put on, that will really, hopefully, well, that'll be the final fixture there in our fuel mix saga. So hopefully that will really increase it a little bit more than it did in the Toro Rosso. Old start finish straight there, still with the old grid patterns on it. And there we go, nice and simple. Fastest middle sector of anyone. We're just going to keep it into rich mode until we get into the last lap, then we'll whack it back down to standard mode. And as we get to that point right now, wait till we cross the start finish line for that to happen, which of course is going to be now. Fastest lap, standard mode on, and 6.8 seconds gap to Vettel, as Jeffrey tells me. And I'm just going to be even more safe here, and I'm going to put it into lean mode, something that we've barely done in our career mode ever here on F1 2017 or 16. We've got 0.6 of a second, 0.6 of a lap left in fuel. Ahead, I should say, and we don't obviously want to risk it in terms of running out. Okay, well, lean's already put us way ahead there, as you can see. So we should be fine. So we go now to win 4 races in a row for the 3rd time in our career. Can we finally go for 5 races in a row in Hungary next round? You'll have to wait and see. But in terms of our championship tilt here for our 2nd championship, we're pretty much where we were last year, with the exception of 5 points. 5 points down on where we were last year. That all came from that retirement in Spain, and of course finishing 5th as opposed to 3rd in that extra race. It's not going to matter now, because right now we need to focus on the remainder of this season. Good thing about Bottas, of course, challenging means there's less points that the other drivers can take off us as we cross the line and win in Silverstone.
You worked hard for that one. Congratulations.
Victory is ours, and we will gladly take that. 4 in a row, our 7th of the season, and again, same as we were at last point, we've only not won 3 races this year, so hopefully we can maintain this consistency moving forward. Still no Ferrari 1-2 this year, very difficult, different to last year. We move 20 points clear, because as I said, I want to win by 25 points to make up for what happened in Azerbaijan. 32 points cover the top 4 now, and 37 points clear in the constructors. Alright, let's see how we go in terms of our career score as we obviously close out the first half of Season 8. 10 more rounds to go. That means, of course, in this season. So we wait for this to load. Hopefully it won't crash on us again. Anytime it wants to load would be fantastic. Nice chunk there, 109, good. Lead the rivalry, good. Hang on to the purple zone, good. And yeah, we're not going to do that. Awesome. Off to Hungary next, of course. Casual Gamer Oz. Like, subscribe, and comment. And thank you for tuning in here to watch this video. We'll speak to you next time. Good night.